we just got done with My Little Pony: A New Generation, aka the Generation 5 movie. So,
You knew what? Sorry.
but, to start off the discussion, basically, this movie was well received by critics and actually got a lot of new bronies in. So basically, a lot of people took this as basically, this was their first pony content, but they went back and watched Gen 4 up until this because they were interested. So this did get them interested in the series, at least the Gen 4 series. And also...
Is your phone ringing?
No.
Is yours?
No.
Huh, sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Just be hearing things as it happens.
Mm-hmm. But, in a nutshell, people were fond of the new characters, the new squad. Basically, this new set of ponies did well on the market in terms of toys and in terms of plushies and all that. But mainly, a lot of people liked the timeliness of the message of this, and also people really praised the animation for... This is the first CGI pony series / movie, because all the previous ones had all been 2D. So this was the first 3D one. So this was a huge step in terms of basically moving towards the future. And also, before we get into general thoughts, I will say that there are a couple new characters in the Gen 5 series that are introduced after this, but these are the main group. This is the main group that we saw as the main characters in this film. So, other than that, yeah, general thoughts. Let's start off.
Right away, huge improvement over the last movie.
Mm-hmm. Bobby?
I really like this one. Like, if you had shown us this one first, like, this one would have sold me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also glad that you showed us, like, the old one, because, like, it's such a drastic difference.
Mm-hmm.
Like, same world, but different. It's like it grew. It grew with us. I like that they did it with the new animation.
Mm-hmm.
But damn, this one made me cry. Actually, this one made me cry, and then it made me mad, and I was like, fuck. And then but I think this one was better paced.
Mm-hmm.
Except for specific scenes. And those scenes, because I was looking at it and I'm like, they were rushed where it was transitioning into going into different, like, worlds.
So, yeah, the different areas of Equestria, yeah.
Because I was like, wait, we just, like that? We just snap and we're there?
Yeah, those were pretty quick. Basically, the whole reason why it had to be quick transitions, not an excuse for the writing, but the whole reason why they had to make it quick transitions was because they wanted to get to showing every single pony kind and where they were at during segregation, and then automatically make sure that the settings were brought together in the end. But yeah, they were really quick transitions, and yeah.
I think in the beginning of the last one, I went in with the last one and I didn't like the beginning whatsoever because it was so rushed. Like, it immediately went into problem. Like, I feel like with the last one we didn't get to be introduced to the characters properly. Like you and like other bronies and stuff. You guys already know about the characters.
Exactly, yeah.
But me and Safara going into it, you know, like, we don't know anything about them, and it's before we even get introduced to them, it's, oh, well, problem, we gotta go solve them. But with this one, I feel like because it was paced correctly, especially in the beginning, because I feel like the beginning is crucial as an introduction to A, introduce plot, B, introduce characters, and like just like set like the tone, I guess.
Yeah.
We were able to figure out each of their personalities, what they like, this, like, you know, like, just get like a feel for them. Because for like the first one that we watched, what was the pink one called?
Pinkie Pie.
I didn't like Pinkie Pie because I thought Pinkie Pie was a bitch. And I was like, okay, well, hold on. And then at the end, I'm like, oh, okay, she's like the nicest because of how she was introduced in the beginning. But with this,
but it took a while. Yeah, it took a while to get there.
But here it was consistent.
That makes sense.
It feels more like its own story and not just a continuation of something else. I know this starts the new generation, so that probably just makes more sense. But
that makes sense too.
This feels like its own more concise story rather than just continuing something that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
So continuing, like, so you said that this is an introduction to the show. Then what happens in the show?
So in the show, it's actually more grounded in, at least from the episodes I've watched, disclaimer, I have not watched all, I'm not up to date on season, or the latest season of Generation 5. So, but from what I have watched, it's basically about the ponies getting used to each other now that everyone's together. So basically, it's like, we saw a happy ending with this, of course, but integration is hard. And the show does not shy away from seeing the fact that not everyone is going to be on board with the now all three pony types being together. So there are still characters that don't like it, that have to get used to it. A whole host of problems involving making sure that every pony does not... every pony is still happy, but every pony understands that this is not how things used to be. It's really grounded in real life, actually, in the sense that change takes time.
I could see that.
So, yeah, that's what the series is focused on.
So comparing the first one that we watched to this one, I liked this one more so because, well, not only does, like, it really show society today, how we function, you know, hate, but then love, but then, you know, like, all of that. But I feel like the last one, what was her name, Twilight?
Yeah.
She kept being like, let's be friends, let's be friends, let's be friends, let's be friends, and, like, almost, every other scene. And to me, I was like, okay, you know, like, even, like, right off the bat. But with this one, because it was less... I don't even know how to word it.
Did it feel less in your face with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more of like a subtle message. It gets you, like, instead of being like in your face, it like crawls in, sneaks in, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah. So then it hits you with the message at the end. It's like, okay, yeah, that was touching.
I was gonna say the entire cooperation message doesn't actually come into play until the very end.
Like,
it's not there for the whole thing.
Like throughout, like, some scenes and stuff. What's her name? What's her name?
Main one or
Sunny.
Sunny, yes.
Sunny.
I was gonna
Sunny,
say. Yeah.
She's like, she usually only mentioned it when they would start arguing. Be like,
Yeah.
guys, like, puts my hoof
Yeah, hoof down, yeah.
hoof down. It's like, guys, like, we gotta work together. It's not like about friendship right now. I'm not saying let's be friends right now, but we gotta work together to solve this shit, or else we're all gonna die.
Yeah. But, yeah, that makes sense. A lot of people did like how these characters cooperated with each other in terms of, it wasn't perfect, of course, but they did like Sunny as a leader, and they did like, it was basically kind of, Bronies did mention what you said about how basically it didn't start out with the message in your face. It was definitely, it built up throughout the film. And it also was the fact that as the ponies got closer together and did start to become friends, it was a lot more subtle. So.
Okay, did we ever find out how the three species got segregated? Because if we did, I didn't catch it.
So no, the series goes into that, I believe. But, because right now, I mean, at least where I left off, they're basically, they're like unfolding that mystery of how they got separated in the first place. So, and like I said, I'm not up to date, so I'm not sure where that's going right now. But I believe the series right now is going for that.
Okay.
I feel like in the last one, what was it? like the build up to the dramatic part of the movie. What's that called? The dramatic part of the movie?
So like the
Like climax?
climax
The
or
climax.
third act, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the climax in the last movie was really disappointing for me. It was very, very disappointing for me. Because the climax was, my friends just got mad at me. But then with this one, it was more so, okay, well, we're all mad at each other, but we still got to figure it out. We're all gonna die. Oh my god, there's multiple things going on at once.
Oh yeah, in terms of like Sprout making that giant mech thing and then trying to attack the other ponies. So yeah.
To me, I feel like the climax here was more so of the jewels coming together. Not even. It was. I feel like it was before Sprout
Yeah.
did it. Because I was like, yo, like, why didn't they connect? Like, what happened? And it leaves you questioning. And it's like, oh, so the movie continues.
Yeah.
But.
So a more sense of tension, I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But going back to what you said, though, I didn't even think about, in my head, what happened to make them, like, distant and hate each other and everything. Because I feel like everything else was so well put together. And then now that you say that it's an intro to the show, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like that was, like, a really good creative move on their end. That's a good strategy. But what were your thoughts between Gen 4 and Gen 5?
So basically, in terms of my opinion from movie to movie, I did think this one was better in terms of a general writing standpoint, but also the only thing I wanted more of from this one was simply the connection in terms of what I wanted to see was a little more lore. And not to explain already what happened between the three pony races, but it was more a sense of I wanted to see more of how each location worked and flourished and how they were functioning on their own. And like you said before, that's because we jump from place to place so quickly.
Right.
But I wanted to see a little more of just the world in general in terms of how it works and how each location works to make it feel a little more lived in, you know?
Instead of just snippets.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what I wanted more of. Of course, since you guys aren't bronies, there were a couple of things that you guys didn't notice, but there were plenty of background stuffs that did connect to Gen 4. And it was fun for me getting to see those because I was like, oh yeah, that's from that episode of Gen 4. Or it would be something where it's either referencing a character or a specific plot point in Gen 4. But of course you guys wouldn't have gotten that. But also, it was something where there was only one thing I was disappointed in really, and that was just the character of Pip. She's the pink Pegasus.
Yeah.
The thing was that I felt like she could have played a bigger part, but also she has my favorite design out of the main characters, but Zip is actually my favorite. The thing is that in the series, I believe Pip gets a little more character development, but in here I just felt like she was kind of just along for the ride.
Yeah, she just kind of joins up out of nowhere. She doesn't really develop or anything. She just kind of tags on. It's like, okay, I'm part of the main cast now.
That's actually what I was gonna mention too. That's the same problem that it had with the first movie. Was we still didn't get a deeper connection with some of the characters. Like it was lacking it.
I think they did a really good job with Sunny, Hitch, and Zip, but everyone else was very. I still feel like I didn't completely know them yet.
With Zip?
Oh, I felt like I knew Zip just because she was the only Pegasus that was really fed up with the lie of that the Royals were the only ones that could fly, and the fact that she was so determined to step out of her comfort zone and immediately ask Izzy and Sunny up questions and help them out. Because that just shows that she's very brave in terms of she was thinking the same things about wondering why every pony was separated and was questioning things like you should. And basically, she took charge with that. That's why I like her.
What do you think about Izzy then? Because I feel like Izzy played like a really big role too.
She did too. She's my second favorite. And Izzy, I believe, so everyone usually compares Izzy and Pinkie Pie, just because their personalities are similar.
But I feel like we should have gotten more of a backstory on Izzy.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something where what they included about the lantern getting to her was very sweet, and I loved that part. But I did want a little more backstory on her too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Something I want to say, and this applies to both movies, not just this one, is that you mentioned that you like My Little Pony so much because it's not the typical happy ending kind of story. And the thing is, I feel like I did see that with these movies, but I didn't, if that makes sense.
I get it, yeah. So it's basically something where MLP usually has a reputation for being saccharine and overly sweet and really girly, whatever you want to call it. But the thing is that the reason why, in my opinion, why MLP doesn't always have happy endings is more so having to do with Gen 4 and the series of Gen 4, considering in that series, it literally goes over messages of the death of a family member, dealing with changing relationships in terms of friends you haven't seen in a long time. Literally, the ponies in Gen 4, they have careers, they have jobs that develop over the series. One character, specifically Rarity, reason why she's my favorite pony of Gen 4 is because she has a dream at the beginning of the series, season 1, to start a boutique in this certain location because she makes clothing. And she gets that goal by the end of the series. Like, it's actual growth. And the thing is that the reason why I praise the show so much is more so because of how it handles complex messages and how it gives those messages to little kids. And that's why adults enjoy it so much, because it feels like it's talking to a general audience, not just little kids. But in this movie, I feel like this one was definitely more for kids, but at the same time, adults could still enjoy it because this is a lesson that everyone needs to learn. And in terms of the ending, it's definitely something where a lot of people might think that it's, like you said, happy and both not exactly happy because some things are still left up in the air. But it's definitely something where the fact that they achieved their goal and they did it in a way that broke the status quo, that's usually what I mean by things being like kind of in that saccharine sweet zone, but kind of not.
So let's talk about something that literally no one ever talks about then. So this show / movie / series,
/ franchise,
/
brand,
general,
everything.
So because when I think My Little Pony, I think Barbie, I think Care Bears, I think Thomas the Train, I think, and all of them have like the same message, like friendship, everything, like there's a problem, get solved, lessons are learned. Why My Little Pony? I feel like in these shows, I feel like they could also, they need to, there needs to be something with each of them that separates them.
So it's not just lesson learned at the end and basically only self-contained episodes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's what I feel like all of these shows are, Like, I don't know about you guys, but I went in with the mindset of My Little Pony, like, it's going to have a good ending. Because they always do, Like Care Bears, Thomas, Barbie, fucking, what was it? What, Tinkerbell? And like, I don't even remember, like all those like older shows and stuff. Yeah. So it's like, but why?
So what you're asking is why do I think MLP is different?
Why does it stand out to you?
Yeah. Okay. So basically with that, seasons 1 through 3, I'll say, did have that stereotypical setup of episode begins, there's a problem, characters learn a lesson at the end. But as things progressed in season 4 and later, the thing was that they did make it more, all of the episodes did connect, starting there, basically. From then on, continuity was a much bigger thing. And what would usually happen was there would still be some episodic ones that didn't connect, but every single episode did build off of the last in terms of basically character development, and they would still reference things that happened in the past. And also, I should say this about the usual format of the series. Usually each season would start with a 2-parter and end with a 2-parter.
Well, you said that they would reference things from the past?
Mm-hmm.
Now that's different in itself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Crazy. Yeah.
Exactly. And the thing is that when those 2-parters would come around, it would always be a season finale or a season starter. So, it would always give it a grander feeling of this is the start of a new segment. And though it all did connect, it was always something like, okay, here's either a new threat to Equestria, or here is a new challenge that the friends have to face together. And it was always something like, so a huge debate in the brony fandom is Twilight was not always a princess. She did not start as a princess at the beginning of season 1. And a lot of people debate on whether or not her character became better or not after she became an alicorn princess. And the thing is that the whole debate around that literally centers around the idea of it becoming less episodic. So the thing is that some people liked that change, some people didn't. And it was definitely something where what made MLP different to me was it was clear to me that they were trying to do an overarching story. It wasn't just, of course, the main goal of these shows is usually to sell toys to kids. But the thing is that this one clearly had an overarching story and message that they were trying to do. Because these characters, of course, they're not perfect. They're not characters that are always going to make the right decisions, but they still grow with each decision. And that's something that I felt like was reflected very well throughout the seasons, especially 4 through 9.
I can't even comment. Like, it's just like, wow.
So, and I will say this, if you are interested in just MLP characters in general without watching the show or anything, it's definitely something where there are plenty of analysis videos that explain stuff. So if you are interested in just seeing how the show grew,
I want to see the Gen 6 movie.
Well, we're not in Gen 6 yet, so I can't get to that on ya.
Not yet.
But
I want to see, like,
when that comes out.
Yeah.
Because I want to see it, like, the fourth, fifth, and then sixth, to see, because I feel like it's going to grow even more, you know?
Oh, yeah, and it's not like it doesn't have a fan base, of course, but also the fact that, I believe, so the show originally, especially Gen 4, but it did really well in France, it did very well in Australia, and it did very well in, what was the third place?
Germany.
I think there is a German dub, but I'm not sure if it was popular or not. It was, I'll think of the third one later, but it did have an audience outside of the States, so that was important too. And I mean, there have been some MLP characters in literally the Death Battle channel on YouTube. There have been MLP characters referenced in plenty of other stuff, especially during when Gen 4 was popular. And so, yeah, while I don't expect you by any means to want to watch the series or want to continue with these, I do think that it is worth looking into in terms of the background of it. And the thing is that I'll ask you this for our last question. In general, what was the one standout moment in this movie? If you could pick a scene or a segment that was really, that particularly popped to you.
You mean the one that made me cry?
Yeah.
Oh shit. It wasn't where they were trying to put together what I thought it was a crown at first, the 3 stones. Not the second time when Sprout was coming at
yeah.
me. But the first time when they like tried to like connect it and it didn't work, I was like, fuck. Because like it wasn't like I felt secondhand embarrassment. It was just like I felt so bad because like she spent her entire life trying to like do that, and I don't know, in a way like I felt so bad for her. Like I felt for her, and so she was trying to prove like her friend wrong, and then like everyone was like counting on her and everything. And I was like, fuck, like damn, like it, I don't know, it just made me like think about like the world today and everything. It's like trying to bring everyone together, and then being like, hey guys, look, you do it,
and
nothing happens.
Yeah.
It's like fuck. So you walk away and it's like,
feeling
shit.
defeated. And yeah,
But
I feel like a lot of just sorry not to cut you off, but when a Bronies React channel did this, a lot of people predicted in the middle of the movie, they thought that it was gonna work, but then they were just gonna have to go back and fight Sprout with it, but that wasn't it. So yeah.
But I was like, shit, what was I gonna fucking say? It was, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I interrupted your thought.
No. It was just, I just felt so fucking bad for her, and I don't know. Like it made me really fucking emotional. Because I'm blanking right now. I'm blanking. I'm gonna let you talk.
For me, it was basically the complexity of this entire plot, like the segregation of the 3 species of ponies and the whole corruption of government thing that we see when, what's the right guy's name again?
Sprout. Yeah.
When Sprout takes over. Those were not topics I expected My Little Pony to cover.
Yeah, it's definitely something that was a shocker to a lot of people, especially people who weren't bronies in the first place, because a lot of people knew from Gen 4 that MLP did dive into more serious topics, but people, of course, on the outside didn't. And it was definitely something where I did like in this movie the back and forth of going from seeing that the characters were on their adventure, becoming closer, and while Sprout was becoming more and more closed-minded. And it was definitely something where I mean, part of this is the comedy of his character of basically saying a lot of the most judgmental, prejudiced people are the most scared and extremely pathetic ones. So I liked that metaphor too.
Her dad. That's why it made me so emotional.
Oh, Sunny's dad?
I thought her dad lied to her.
Oh.
And I was like, no, you made her have to be like a fool. But then at the same time, I was like, but you guys worked so hard. For nothing.
Yeah, I wondered that too when it got to that part, especially when they were saying because it's all just a fairy story after they were trying to connect those.
I was like, no, like, what the fuck, man? And so, yeah.
And yeah, you gotta remember that this was thousands of years after Gen 4, so they went a long period of time learning a history that was about segregation. So them thinking that the magic wasn't real was a huge part of why they were segregated in the first place. But also the fact that it is totally valid to think that at the very beginning that, and especially in that scene that you mentioned, that what if her dad was wrong? What if her dad just made it up?
I believed it
yeah.
up until that part, and I'm like, no, you betrayed me. Like, that's it, you betrayed us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we'll cut it off here. But
7 out of 10.
but basically, thank you for going on this journey with me. I'm going to be using this for a school project.
See you in Gen 6, I guess.
See you in Kalos. Darn it.
When's Gen 6 gonna happen? How long does it usually take for between gens?
I'm not sure how long they're planning on making the series for Gen 5, so I don't know. I really don't know.
What about like Gen 3? Yeah.
Gen 1 through 3 was basically back when My Little Pony matched the stereotype of what you would usually think of MLP.
Oh, like when we were kids and everything?
Yeah.
Like the toys that we, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Generation 4 is what changed everything, and Generation 4 is what sparked the Brony fandom, really. So, that is basically where, that's where the good stuff is, honestly.
Yeah.
Everything before that was unfortunately pretty stereotypical, but yeah. But that's why people liked Gen 4 so much, because they felt it was such a big change. So, yeah.
Cool. This is fair class.
Yep.
I consent.
You're bounded by law. Anyway.
Like what law? Like university law? What?
The law that was just made up in this second right now.
There you go.
All right. We will see you guys in the next video.
Bye.